Alright, here's everything that you need to know to manage Canvas and also MyBRADYLab for this semester. So as you log into Canvas, and if you don't have access, you'll have to talk to the help desk at the college. Once you get logged in though, you'll have some type of dashboard page. It may look something similar to this, it may not. It just depends on different announcements that are posted. Our course has this image for this semester, so you're going to want to go ahead and click on the course. But you know what, before we get into that, let me show you one other thing. If you go to Account and Settings and Notifications, those are the two things that we're going to want to do some updates to. Alright? In order for me to contact you with important class announcements, maybe last minute changes to the syllabus, classroom changes, whatever, I post announcements to Canvas. That's the only type of communication that I'll use. So what you want to do is be sure that you add in here ways to contact you. And it could be an email address. You can add in your cell phone number if you want to get text message alerts. It's your choice. I have two different email addresses that I use. The wfrd.org one here comes straight to my phone. So that's my primary contact address. As long as you have that entered in there, then you can come over here and go to Notifications. Now with notifications, there are lots and lots and lots of different options for how you get notified and when. All I ask is that for announcements right here, you set that to immediately. And everything else, it's up to you. But as long as that is set to immediately, if I post an announcement, it'll come directly to your phone and it'll let you know of the change. So going back, we're going to click on our course, Fall 2017, and it takes you to the home page. Now Canvas has quite a bit of stuff loaded into it. First thing you can look at is the syllabus. And based on the events and the courses and assignments that I've entered into Canvas, it kind of gives you a breakdown of everything that's due and when. You can also click here and open the course syllabus itself directly up. That's uploaded as a PDF into your Canvas shell. Any announcements that are posted will be archived here. You can log in and review those. You can also comment on those. Assignments themselves. Now I'm looking at the instructor view right now, so it shows everything as being available and open. Some assignments may not be open to you yet. And as a matter of fact, what we can do is I'll go into the student view, so everything that you see is what I see. There we go. From here then, MyLab and Mastering. We're going to circle back to this in a minute, but that's probably the most important thing that we're going to be using. You can log in to view your grades, different discussions. You can message your classmates directly. If you want to set up a study group, you don't have their phone number, email address, you can message them through Canvas here. It's all secure and confidential. Any of the files that I've uploaded to Canvas are here. Now I have all of the PowerPoint notes uploaded as PDF files. So you can open up PowerPoint for each and every one of the chapters there. It's in the note-taking format. You can print those off on your own time if you'd like, bring those to course or to the class and take notes on them. Circling back to MyLab and Mastering. So we use something called MyBRADYLab now. Rather than using a physical workbook, all of the practice material is now online through a multimedia website. Now what you're going to do is you'll click on this link in Canvas, and you're going to open up, you can click on any link that's displayed for you. Once you open it up, it's going to take you to a registration page. So long as you have your access card from purchasing the textbook new, you can just enter that code, everything's included. If you bought your textbook from somewhere other than the MCC bookstore, you have to be sure that you got that access card. If you didn't, it's not a problem. In that registration page, you can actually go ahead and purchase access to MyBRADYLab right there. Last I checked, it was something like $105 for the semester. So make sure you get yourself logged in and registered. If when clicking on these links, something isn't working or opening up for some reason, it's because of your pop-up blocker. I know that you're going to tell me that your pop-up blocker doesn't do anything or that it works fine, blah, blah, blah. Every single student that's ever had any type of problems eventually came back to me and said, yeah, it was definitely my pop-up blocker. So be sure to look into those settings if you have any issues. Once you get logged into MyBRADYLab, it's going to take you to a screen that looks something like this. And it's going to have a lot of information, all of your assignments and everything will be listed on here. And I want to walk you through some of the important stuff from MyBRADYLab to make sure that you're really utilizing this resource as it's intended. There is a lot of information, and this is to help appeal to all learning types. Some of you can open up your textbook at home, read through it, retain it, and you're good to go. Others stare blankly at a book. You could read it for an hour and read the same paragraph over and over and still have no idea what it says. I'm one of those people. So I like different ways to learn. By logging into MyBRADYLab, there are games, there's visual aids, there's flashcards, all sorts of stuff that you can use in addition to the practice quizzes. So let's start here. You see you've got a handful of different things. If you look at your chapter assignments tab, it'll take you to the chapter. Let's say that we want to work on chapter 1. We'll click on chapter 1, and any of the assignments that are available or planned will appear and you can get started on them. Now, since the course hasn't actually started yet, nothing's available. But what I can do is preview some of those assignments for you, and you can see what they kind of look like. So you'll see for each and every chapter there's reading, there's an audio review, there's a pretest, homework, post-test, and chapter test. The only thing that I grade you on that you're required to do is the pretest and the homework. That's it. Nothing else is required. So let's go ahead and, well, before I preview it, let me explain how this works. So reading and audio review. With the reading, you can log in and you can read the chapter on the eText if you choose. If you don't want to read it online, you'd rather read it in your book, not a problem. With the audio review, if you're one of those people who just reading is not your thing, you don't retain that very well, each and every chapter has an audio review by the author, Dan Limmer. Literally log in, listen to the review, and it's a synopsis of each chapter. I think they're on average between 15 and 25 minutes long. So not too bad. Once you've studied and you've prepared for the material, you're going to log in and you're going to have to complete a pretest and the homework. So the pretest is based on all the learning objectives for the entire chapter. If you get 100% on the pretest, congratulations, you don't have to do the homework. You'll actually get full credit for all of the homework. Let's say that you miss 5 questions on the pretest. Depending on which learning objectives you missed, let's say that of the 5 questions you missed, there were 3 learning objectives there. Then what's going to happen is it's going to create homework questions for you based on the learning objectives that you missed. If you missed 3 on the pretest, that doesn't mean you have 3 questions in the homework. You may have 15 questions in the homework. The purpose there is to reinforce the learning concepts that you missed in the first place, to make sure that you have a clear understanding of it. So with the pretest, it's exactly what you think it would be. You log in, it gives you a question, it's multiple choice, 4 possible answers, you choose one, you move on. Once you're done with that, you can go to the homework then. And we'll go ahead and do a quick preview of that. So here's the first question, right? There's 26 total homework question potential for Chapter 1. The long-term survival of patients is called, and we have our 4 options here. Assuming that we're not quite sure what the actual answer is, I can click here on Question Help. And if there's a video pertaining to it, if there's e-text pages, if there's any diagrams or animations or anything you can imagine, I can just click on it and it's going to take me directly to where I need to review the material. So I clicked on e-text pages. It's going to open up the e-text. And everything regarding this learning concept is going to be contained in the following couple sections of the e-text. So I can read through all this information and I can figure out the correct answer. Now, this is open book. It's not timed. So there is absolutely no reason whatsoever not to score 100% on your homework assignments. Here's the kicker. There are several hundred points throughout the course of the semester linked back to these MyBRADYLab assignments. They're open book at your own pace. If you log in and you do them by the deadline, you're going to do very well, especially if you're not a good test taker. This will help boost the grade for those of you who don't score well on exams. If you choose not to do this, if you blow it off or if you don't have it done by the deadline, this will significantly hurt your grade. You could ace every single one of the exams and you'll be lucky to score an 80% in the course overall because of how heavily weighted these MyBRADYLab assignments are. Moral of the story, do it. One thing I did want to notice or note on here though, the Ask My Instructor link. Please don't use this. If you have a question regarding a question, then I would like for you to email me or send me a message directly through Canvas. If you use this, I will get some obscure notification that there was a question that's been asked. It won't tell me what it is. I'll actually have to get to a computer, log in, and respond. Whereas if you send me something through Canvas or through email, I'll get it to my phone and I'll respond much quicker. So please do it that way, Canvas or through email. So at the end of the day, when I import grades into Canvas from MyBRADYLab, I'm importing the homework grades. So as long as you get the homework done, those are the grades that will influence your overall course grade. The post-test and the chapter test are optional. A lot of students like using these as study reviews. You can go in, you can redo assignments after you've already completed them to try to score better. So you feel free to go in and utilize this as a study resource as much as you would like to. Going back here then. So we've got chapter assignments we talked about. There's a study plan that's in there to help keep you on pace. Decision-making cases. The decision-making cases are for certain chapters, and essentially it gives you a brief scenario that you have to make treatment decisions on. So you'll see here there's 40 decision-making cases, and we can choose the different chapters that may have them apply. Again, these are for you to use to study, to get feedback. I will tell you that I disagree with some of the treatment decisions that they have in here in MyBRADYLab, but that also goes to show that there are different ways to treat patients. There's not always just one black and white way to do it. So if you go through here and it tells you to do something and you hear me say something different in class, bring it up and say, hey Scott, why does MyBRADYLab say to do it differently? And we can have that discussion. Going down to the e-text, it looks a little bit different than the physical textbook that you guys have in class right now. Physical textbook you have has all of the diagrams and the pictures and images and everything else. With the e-textbook, this is actually designed to work better on a phone or tablet, so that if you want to, if you're sitting on your lunch break at work, you don't have your textbook with you, but you want to read up on a chapter, you can bring this up on your phone or tablet and have a little bit easier use of it. So you click on this menu option over here, go to your table of contents, and let's say that I want to review A and P, and I was studying at home earlier, but I left off and I need to start reviewing body systems. So I can bring this up here. It does have some imagery in it. It's not as elaborate as what your textbook is going to have. And as soon as it's done loading, I'll start to show you. So I can review through here, and you can see it's all long. It's not very wide. So this should work using the portrait view on your phone. Scroll through everything, and it gives me the ability to read and review. Now there are some things too that allow you to click on it and it'll give you information. So for instance, musculoskeletal system here. I can click on this and it gives me a definition of what that actually is. If there's a figure that's referenced, I can click on that and it's going to take it and open up that figure so that I can look at it directly. So again, lots and lots and lots of stuff for you to do using the e-textbook. Now you also have the ability to add highlights and notes to it. And since I don't have any highlights or notes added quite yet, nothing appears, but if you do add those, you'll be able to actually utilize them. So I'm going to close out the e-textbook now. And here's the multimedia library. This is where it really gets to be fun. They have tons of additional content in here for the multimedia library. Let's use airway management, chapter 9, as an example. And let's look at all the options that they have for multimedia. Now I got to scroll through this stuff because these are all different 3D animations that they have for the entire textbook. But now I get right here to chapter 9, airway management. And there's animations on respiratory system, lung gas exchange, normal lung sounds. This is huge for people to listen to. Lung sounds are usually a big challenging skill. Audio insights on different components or the entire chapter. You can click right here, it'll take you directly to the e-text pages for this chapter. You can look at the PowerPoint notes. These are the same PDF files that are uploaded to Canvas. However, I do recommend that if you're going to print and use these, that you use them off of Canvas, because I have made some changes to the PowerPoints, and you want to be sure that your note slides reflect those changes that I've made. If you want to practice for the skills, we've got skills testing on a routine basis. You've got all these in here, and it'll give you a breakdown. These are in addition to the skills manual that you received the first day of class. And then there are tons of different videos on doing different maneuvers. So let's look at head tilt chin lift, for example.
An open airway is essential in patients who cannot maintain their own airway. This is primarily the unresponsive, altered level of consciousness or mental status, respiratory, or cardiac arrest patient. The airway in these patients is usually partially obstructed by the loss of muscle tone, allowing the tongue and lower jaw to interfere with the passage of air to the lungs. The head tilt chin lift maneuver opens the airway by tilting the head back while simultaneously lifting the chin forward, which brings the tongue forward, thus opening the air passage.
So just that short little clip that I showed you had information that pertains to 2 different exam questions regarding this topic. So these videos are very useful. I recommend that you budget time to sit down and utilize these resources. Really, really important. The other thing I want to show you guys here is a glossary and flashcards. So the glossary has a lot of information. You need to know all of these terms. Extremely, extremely important. And if you want to quiz yourself, you go to the flashcard page here. We'll study now. I'm going to select all of the Chapter 9 objectives, or terms rather. Okay. Nasopharyngeal airway. It gives me the ability to look at the term. If I click on it, now it'll give me a pronunciation and the actual definition. And I move on from there. And I can tell myself if I got it correct or incorrect. And at the end, when I'm all done, it'll actually score me on how I did. So it says here that I skipped 10 of them, and I got 0 correct and none correct. So again, helps me keep track of my terminology and how I'm doing. So that's the gist of MyBRADYLab. Be sure to log in, play with this stuff. There's tons and tons and tons of information available to you. Don't short yourself. A lot of people come to me struggling and saying, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm studying and studying. Well, maybe the way that you study isn't the right way to do it. Maybe you need to find new ways to study. And by branching out and trying all these different things, that's just the beginning. If you have any questions on any of the usage for MyBRADYLab or Canvas or anything else for that matter, be sure to talk to one of your instructors and we're happy to help you out. Thanks.